Mark, what were you hoping to get out of today with the side you had in there?
Just to play another competitive game.
Was it competitive, did you think, Mark, today?
I thought we were outclassed, yeah. That would be fair to say, so that can happen.
Did you put it all down to the fact that you had a really depleted side today?
No, not just that. No, you don't make any... I mean, we've made a decision as a club and what to do today, and we think it's the right thing going forward. So maybe in the short term it doesn't look that way, but we think in the next week or two that we needed to do that.
So you sacrificed today?
No, we never sacrificed today. We never sacrificed. We've got 46 players on our list. There was no first game out there for us today. We have done this over the last 3 years where extensively we have played younger players in our team.
Does the magnitude of the loss worry you though, Mark?
I think it's individually it's how guys can take it, or whether they look at their own performance and want to do something about it the following week. There's all sorts of different aspects that should be considered. So, but I mean, I tend to look at the more positive outlook on particularly players, and when you have a team like that today.
Mark, it's a really unusual circumstances, like a real one-off, just because of there's a lot of sort of reasons why it's come to this. What do you make of today? Like it's virtually a second side against a side that was just a lot better drilled because of the personnel having played.
Yeah. Look, I think I would love for you guys to experience being on the road for 12 to 14 times prior to today. And this is not an hour flight or not a 2-hour flight. So just take that into consideration. If we've had 14 flights or trips like this, yeah, I think we should be looking at exemptions. That's my whole issue here, and I'm waiting to hear an answer on it.
So do you see your selection strategy as controversial or not?
Not at all, no. Right.
Do you have any sympathy for North Melbourne, given they needed you to win today to stay alive?
You make your own play. We're not in it to please other clubs.
So you just said something there about you're looking for an exemption. You're looking for a better deal with the fixturing. Is that what you're getting at?
I'll tell you what. Come on, I'll invite you one day on a trip with us. You can come. You should be able to. You should know what I'm talking about then, if you know what I mean. But anyway, that's neither here nor there now. I mean, we'll talk about that at the end of the year. But what we think that's what we did today was right for our team in the next 2 weeks.
So close to the finals, are you disappointed the AFL on Friday night, 6 days after a long trip?
That's what we call a replay. That's probably happened to us 4 or 5 times this year. But we don't. Well, it is.
It's pointy end now, though. I mean, I'm asking you specifically on this one.
Yeah, I would have thought so, yeah.
Was part of your selection strategy a protest against the AFL?
No.
6-day break?
No. It's the latter part of the year, and most of the guys, if you have had a look, or nearly all the guys that we left out today, have played nearly every game this year, and some of our younger players particularly. And unfortunately, because we had substantial injury in the last 6 to 7 weeks, we haven't been able to rest those guys at any stage. So it all came to a head quite quickly.
How many of those players, your key players, would you expect to have back next week for the Carlton game?
Probably 10.
So does that mean that this result, in a sense, when teams have massive losses, we normally ask if there's going to be any lingering effect the following week, but will you guys just be able to wipe this result?
Look, we won't be going into it extensively from a reviewing point of view. What we'll be trying to do is enhance, and I mean, the reality is we've had a look at Hawthorn and we've seen how they play, and perhaps they don't know a hell of a lot about us if we happen to meet each other. So,
regardless of that, is that an unacceptable effort by the team you did put it down?
I just feel, sometimes when you play a young team, they can just tend to be reactive quickly, particularly if the opposition get off to a reasonable start, and that's what happened to us today. We were kicking with a slight breeze. It was 2 or 3 goal breeze, and they managed to kick, I think, 5 goals in the first quarter to 2 or 3 points. We just didn't move the ball or give ourselves an opportunity to move the ball when we had that end where we should have scored more.
So do you give those players that you played today the message that was unacceptable?
No, I spoke to the players about a number of things, and And one thing is, an example is, it's just when they want to kick the ball around, how to defend that properly and quickly.
You mentioned 10 changes. Besides the guys coming back from being rested, what a couple from injury who you might get back?
Well, obviously Sandilands is one.
Crowley?
He may well come up, yes. But we've got to make a decision. He hasn't played for 6 weeks.
Valentine, any chance?
I'd say so. He's a reasonable chance, yeah.
Terrence for next week,
No, not Tarrant, no.
and Chris May.
Main played today and Headland played today, so I'm not sure how they went, but I'll find out. Yeah.
Hazelby was in knee.
Yeah, he had swelling on his knee from training yesterday, and so that became a late minute inclusion. So we had to make another change there. So
Do you expect him to be back?
not sure yet. It's his other knee, and we have to wait for scans at this stage. So I'm not sure.
Mark, it's such a big loss, an embarrassing day for you.
It's not something that we've had in our game too much this year. So yeah, I mean, getting beaten by a margin, yeah, it does hurt. Yeah.
Has your strategy might raise the stakes for next week? And if you don't win next week, are you braced for a lot of criticism about the whole strategy?
What's the criticism?
Like putting your eggs in one basket and setting aside to win next week?
I mean, you're once again you're preempting everything. I mean, reality is that even if we mightn't win next week, and we could still finish 5th or 6th. So you're only preempting things at this stage.
From the list management point of view, Mark, was that very worse last week, though? From the list management point of view, looking at
A little bit, yeah, it can be, yes.
But what did you learn about some of the players that maybe not have had the chance this year a lot?
Well, you learn how close or how far away they are to becoming a complete player at AFL level to where the opposition really have to be concerned about. Yeah.
But do you think you got that value out of that today? Do you can leave on that?
Oh, look, it's hard because a lot of the time they would have been chasing. I mean, I think they were in possession 15% more. So, on a day where you'd like the game to be a lot more closer to really get a good guide on them. Otherwise, they find themselves chasing all day, and it can't be a direct implication or judgment on them.
And what about for the players who will play next week? It's a tough day at the office for them, obviously. How are you going to deal with them during the week to make sure that they get back up for what's going to be a pretty crucial game for them?
Oh, well, the last couple of weeks we've been through our highs and lows and as a team, and we managed to come back. We don't make it a regular pattern. We can, when we play at home, if you want to be careless about who you're playing or who's playing us at home, then good luck to them.
Just on what you said about you can still finish 5th or 6th without winning. You've obviously looked at all the scenarios. You factor into your decision making the possibility of losing a big chunk of percentage like you did today.
Yeah.
That might happen.
Yep.
And just obviously weighed that up and decided that.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
in terms of the image of the game, some people that have already sort of commented before the game that it wasn't good at all. Do you have any concerns at all about?
Who's talking about the image of the game? Former players, are they?
Yeah, everyone will be happy with the image of the team that decide not putting out his first team.
That's their prerogative. If they want to, that's how former players, and perhaps you might want to name them.
Gary Lyon.
Is he? Okay. Okay. Well, if that's
I think Gary suggested on the footy show was un-Australian. I think he's coming on.
un-Australian, did he?
Can you just elaborate though? Obviously, you see your role to do whatever you have to do for your club. Can you just elaborate on the thinking behind it?
We'll do what we think is right from the club and team point of view. We won't be getting distracted by ex-players that want to comment on something they probably don't know too much about if you're not involved internally in football clubs. And just remember when they played.
You wouldn't expect any contact from the AFL, just in terms of obviously betting's massive business these days.
We don't play football for betting. That's one thing I will make clear. We're not playing the game for betting. And if we get to that case, well, we're all in trouble.
Mark, just one thing.
That's when the AFL will intervene.
Mark, just wanted to double check on Hazelby. Do you reckon he's swelling on the knee? Is he going to bite people next week or?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, I couldn't say. I couldn't give you. Yeah.
Thanks.